That was a turning point thanks to Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres. And what's going on with the Cronulla Sharks? Buzz, take it
look,
away.
I'm not 100% sure. I will say this about the Cronulla roster. It has been very, very stable for 2 years. And outside of signing Adam Fanua-Blake, they've hardly signed a player. So Craig Fitzgibbon backed himself to get more out of his current players. He's done that for 2 years. It's not happening this year. He's got 2 players on $1 million. Adam Fanua-Blake started strong. I think he's really faded off and he doesn't have anywhere near the impact he had early in the season. I think that was there for all to see. And Nicho Hynes, the other $1 million player at halfback, trying his guts out every week, but there were a couple of errors in his performance yesterday, particularly at the back end. A kick on the last tackle gave Broncos a 7-tackle restart. Then he did a knock-on.
Let's cut to it.
And when you're on that brass, as you know, you've got to shut games down.
You do, and you think you should be moving to fullback, is that right?
I don't know.
You don't know, or you do?
Well, I said in my column today that Daniel Atkinson and Trindle, as the halves combination, for a large part of last year, were getting Cronulla the best results they've had in 2 years. Trindle, when he has more control over that side from halfback, that's what earned him a $700,000 contract. Playing with Atkinson was so good, St George signed him. I want to see that halves combination going, but Nicho has to be in the side somewhere. Is it harsh on Kennedy? Kennedy was leading the Dally M's early, but not going brilliant. He's been dropping football.
Yeah, Nicho doesn't have the speed to go to fullback. He doesn't score those tries.
He has played there, Gordy.
Yeah, I know, but he played that 6 or 8 games at the Storm and got this $1 million contract. And if I was going to move him, dare I say it, I'd have to move him to lock and tell him to put the mouth guard in or go by 2 and you're going to play that sort of role.
We all know how good Nicho can be. Like we've seen it. We just haven't seen enough of it. And at times this year he showed glimpses of it, even in periods of games. But the problem with Nicho is when the game's on the line, you know. And you said it, Buzz. You need your $1 million players. You need your big guns to stand up. And I feel like he's lacked confidence now for quite a while. And when you lack confidence, you play with hesitation. And in hesitation in the halves, I've said on this show before, is the biggest killer. And you can see it. He just seems to hesitate. He seems unsure about himself. He's not that player that just give me the ball, I'm going to win our team the game. And he needs to be. So he's under some pressure, Nicho. But you tend to think that it's more Trindle, not Nicho.
Well, I don't think Trindle set the world on fire, Braith. You know, I think it's easy to point the finger at Nicho because he's the high-profile guy that's been wearing a lot of the blame for the last year. Well, he's had the focus on him for over a year now. Yeah, some of it is, but I think Trindle has to wear some of it as well, Braith. I mean, he's on a good wicket too, Buzz.
You don't take the point, though, the best footy when they charged into the finals last year, Nicho was hurt and he was dropped from Origin. It was Trindle and Atkinson.
I'm with Gordy. You can't play Nicho at fullback.
Well, that's why when Braith asked me, I said, I don't know. I'm not sure if he's a fullback. He could be a lock forward. But they're running out of options for him. $1 million player has to start.
Well, I think Fitz has got to... Look, you've put the money, you've invested the money in him. Fitz has got to find a way to get him going. That's why Fitz is on the big money.
Mate, we're 17 months into this competition.
And you're too far gone now.
17 weeks.
They're your halves. You've got to find a way to get it working, Buzz, for me. Because they're not going to win a comp with Braden Trindle and Daniel Atkinson in the halves, with due respect to those two guys.
Yeah, but
Nicho's their only hope.
In the opening segment, you were quite happy for Tom to move for the betterment of the Manly side, but you're not happy for Nicho to move?
Because they've got a better option. Manly got a better option. Leoi Hopewadi's a good option. I'm saying he's your best option.
They are 6 points clear of 5th, but it's the way they're losing and the concerns over a performance like yesterday. In the last month, really, they beat the Dragons.
They were towed up by a Roosters side at Allianz Stadium. Towed up, they conceded 40 points.
It was Central Coast, I think it was, Buzz.
Wherever it was. Yeah. And the Roosters were without 5 State of Origin players. Now, this should be Cronulla's time of the year. They do not have one Origin player. Yeah. They've had no interruptions whatsoever. The Broncos were there to be beaten yesterday.
Katoa's getting sent to the sin bin was, I think, nearly the stupidest sin bin that I've seen from a winger. There's like 50 seconds to go before the halftime break and they give it away. When they were playing through the middle, they really troubled Brisbane. When they played off Braley through the middle and the halfbacks chimed in, but But then when the game was on the line and they tried to take control and grab the reins, they couldn't get
They
the
went
job
away
done.
from it and they made errors. They
Going
were,
through the middle was
it was going through the middle. And they were terrorising their three on both sides, in between the half and centre. They
Ezra
just
and
kept
Adam Reynolds.
kept breaking them down that first half, and they went away from it. So let's round this off. Do they pull the trigger and move him, or do they keep him at 7 for the rest of the year?
I think you've got to stick with him, Braith. I think, as I said, we were watching those highlights. The first half, there was nothing wrong with the way Nico played in that first half. I mean, you saw the highlights there. He's creating tries, he's scoring tries. It's there. It's there.
It's
in
hard
him.
to hand someone confidence, though. You know,
That's-
like you say, Craig Fitzgibbon, it's up to him, but it's not really. It's up to Nico.
But it can go like that, Braith. He can get it back in a
It
second.
can, but it's been missing for a while
It
now.
has been, yeah.
You know, so
But there's
it's-
been games where he's been really good, though, Braith.
Yeah, I
during that
agree.
period
I
as well.
agree. I don't want to just, it's not a Nico bashing, because
No.
we've seen him play some brilliant footy this year, but it's just consistently throughout a whole game and then getting them over the line, which he struggled. So, Buzz, is he a fullback or not? You look a bit.
Well, I saw him play fullback very capably
Yeah.
at Melbourne Storm, and he did have speed back in those days, right?
Yeah.
All I know is the spotlight is on him now, the blowtorch is on him now for one simple reason: he's on a $6 million contract. When you sign up as the face of the club on that sort of money, you're expected to perform week in, week out.
No, you're
He's
not wrong. You're not wrong. All right.